Happy Thursday, May 9th, everyone. Hunter here again at Weather on the Go. And in today's weather forecast, we have more severe weather possible today on May 9th and tomorrow, Friday, May 10th. We'll be going over the breakdown of what you need to know with the severe weather both days. And we're going to be looking ahead at Mother's Day weekend as well with your temperatures and your precipitation trends. And following that, looking at the long range outlook into next week. Very active weather does continue into the middle of May. We'll be detailing that in today's weather forecast. If you are new here to the channel on Weather on the Go and you are not a subscriber, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below for the latest weather information right at your fingertips. We cover southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics on this channel. And we'll also be doing more live streams on this channel as well for severe weather and hurricane season as well. And also be sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. So let's get into yesterday's event. We had a lot of severe weather across the middle of the country in the eastern part of the country on Wednesday, May 8th. Look at all the wind and hail reports in the blue into the greens here and the blacks. And you can also see a lot of reds in here as well. We had 13 tornado reports, one of them back into western Kansas, another one up here into southeastern South Dakota, and many of them, even a devastating tornado near the Nashville region yesterday. So a very dangerous day of severe weather it was yesterday, and I am afraid more severe weather is in play of significance as we go into today. We have a level 3 out of 5, an enhanced risk of severe weather here across east central Texas through portions of Louisiana, southern Arkansas, that stretches over into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and southern South Carolina with a slight risk level 2 out of 5 in the yellow, stretching up there through the Carolinas and the Delmarva region. The biggest threat today will be significant damaging winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour, especially in this dash shaded line area outlined in black from eastern Texas all the way over here through Dixie Alley into Georgia. And we could have some pretty big hail today, especially into Texas here, into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Waco, down to Austin and San Antonio, and stretching over toward Texarkana and Shreveport today. We could have some hailstones over 2 inches in diameter and a couple of tornadoes, especially the brown shaded color from Texas eastward through Dixie Alley here all the way to South Carolina and Georgia. Even a couple of tornadoes with a 2% area up here into the mid-Atlantic will be possible through today. Let's look at the setup for severe weather. We have dew points, very rich moisture down here near the Gulf of Mexico, mid-upper 70s dew points. Very rich environment for moisture down here into Texas, Louisiana, stretching near the Gulf Coast all the way over here towards Florida, 60s dew points further north and east, into that slight risk through the Carolinas there and into Virginia. We have the strongest instability today down here across Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. That is the very area where the most significant severe weather will likely reside later on today. And you can see here the timing of the storms, ongoing convection across Alabama, North Georgia, into the Carolinas this morning with mainly a damaging wind and hail threat, but a couple of tornadoes this morning cannot be ruled out. As we go into the afternoon, we're going to see that complex kind of get a little bit more aggressive here across southern Georgia and South Carolina and entering into North Florida. As that happens, we'll still see damaging winds and hail, but I think a tornado cannot be ruled out on the leading edge of that line of storms. Supercell thunderstorms developing back near the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We need to watch out there in the Dallas region for some very big hail over 2 inches in diameter, some very strong winds and a few tornadoes with this. And then those supercells will start to develop all across Dixie Alley today from East Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, into Alabama and Georgia there as we go into this evening with big hail, big wind, and potentially a couple of tornadoes. We'll be keeping a close eye on that and more clustering of storms moving through Mississippi, Alabama, and West Georgia into early Friday morning before sunrise. All told, looking at total precipitation amounts here all the way through Friday morning commute from East Texas all the way here into Georgia, South Carolina. You see the blues, the purples, and the reds here. That is at least an inch of rain, possibly even up to 2 inches of rain in the reds here where you see that on the map. So A slight risk for flash flooding is in place from the Weather Prediction Center through Friday morning across portions here of the deep south into the southeast. So if you are in the yellow, even the green shaded color, you do have a marginal to slight risk for flash flooding through your Friday morning commute. Going into Friday, we have a slight risk of severe weather. Again, level 2 out of 5 here across southern South Carolina, getting into southern Georgia and North Florida. Marginal risk surrounding that for the southeast coast. The main threat here on Friday tomorrow will be damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, followed by some quarter-size hail and potentially a couple of tornadoes. We have a 2% chance of a tornado near the Carolina coast here from the Wilmington region down through Myrtle Beach, Charleston into Savannah, Georgia there, Jacksonville back to Gainesville there toward Tallahassee, Panama City, and then back here towards the Dothan area there into Alabama and Mobile as well. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. Looking here on Friday morning, ongoing cluster of showers and storms across North Florida into Georgia there and South Carolina will pose a risk already Friday morning for all hazards, damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes here. That will start to weaken out as we go into the afternoon, and then by the evening hours, we finally will say goodbye to a multi-day severe weather outbreak, as this will end as we go into Friday. So it looks like Friday morning will be very active. Friday afternoon and evening will start to trend quieter across the southeast coast, but not before we see some very heavy rainfall here Friday, May 10th, and through Saturday, May 11th. Look at all these areas here through portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia here, and into northwest Florida and northern Florida that could be seeing over 2 inches of rain here in the red. So definitely seeing that. So a marginal risk of flash flooding here is possible Friday, May 10th into Saturday, May 11th for southeastern Alabama, northern Florida, southern Georgia, and southern South Carolina. We'll keep a very close eye on this area. Heading into Mother's Day weekend, a delightful weekend of weather it will be, at least with the temperatures here. You can see across the middle of the country, 70s and 80s out there. Some cooler temperatures, but in the 60s still across the eastern Great Lakes up here into the Northeast and New England region. Very warm out west as well, so it's going to be very warm out here, 94 for example, into Phoenix as you go into your Saturday, May 11th. Waking up Mother's Day morning on Sunday morning here, can't complain. We got 40s, nice refreshing air across the east, 50s with some 60s in the middle of the country, and the same thing can be said across the west as well. Look at that Mother's Day afternoon on Sunday afternoon, wonderful temperatures out there, some 80s poking out across the upper Midwest, 80s down here across the Mississippi Valley, a little bit warmer down here into Florida. Southern Florida has been very dry lately. Dry soil will catapult those temperatures into the lower 90s, but still very, very nice across the country there for Sunday afternoon from a temperature standpoint. Now, precipitation here on Saturday, we got a disturbance across the Ohio River Valley. Could bring us some showers and storms. And severe weather, though, is not a concern with this. We also have some active weather for the Four Corners region down into West Texas. Hey, I'm not complaining. We need the rainfall down here in this region as well. So we'll take every drop that we can get. And then as we go into Sunday, again, West Texas seeing rain. I'm not complaining here. Even if we have rain on Mother's Day, I know it's unfortunate, folks, but we need the rainfall out here into West Texas with the drought, and we have a few thunderstorms. I can't rule out maybe an isolated strong to severe storm in Texas there on Sunday with hail and wind, but I think the tornado threat should remain rather low. Here's the rainfall amounts through the entirety of Mother's Day weekend. You can see where the active weather will be here with the colors on the screen. Where it is all just white, you are going to see dry weather here, so you can see much of the southeast remaining dry, the high plains into the upper Midwest mostly dry, and then out west pretty dry as well. The active weather will be the central southern plains, and then up here toward the Great Lakes and into the mid-Atlantic states where we could see a little bit of wet weather. The heaviest rains, though, will be from portions of south central Texas into coastal Texas, so from San Antonio eastward toward Houston, Lake Charles, and over toward New Orleans. Probably the wettest weather with several inches of rain through the weekend. Going into next week, weather pattern shift is happening. As we go into next week, we have early next week a trough across the east, a ridge building out west. That means warmer weather, but drier weather out west. Active weather across the east. That really continues into the middle of next week and late next week. This pattern just amplifies further. So a ridge out west, dry weather with warmer weather, and a trough out east, cooler weather with a little bit of wet weather as well, or a lot of wet weather really. Look here at the precipitation outlook as we go into all of next week. Very wet down here for the southeast, especially even into Florida. We need the rainfall here as well, but east of the Rockies, above average precipitation. Where we have that ridge centered across across the west and Pacific Northwest, precipitation will remain below average for places like Seattle, Portland, down there toward the Sacramento Valley, and then eastward toward Boise, Idaho, as we go in towards the next week time frame. Here are the rainfall totals next week. Monday, May 13th through Friday, May 17th, the heaviest rains east of the Rockies, and really down here into the southeast, we're going to see a nice soaking rain as we go through the period next week, or multiple days of rain. There will be some dry hours, but a lot of wet hours as well, so we'll keep a very close eye on that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure if you were not subscribed here to Weather on the Go, hit the subscribe button down below, so that way you can get the latest weather information right at your fingertips throughout this year. We'll keep the videos coming here. Make sure to press the like button down below. It's the thumbs up button, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Thursday out there.